derby fixture to a late goal for Stour. They've taken just 3 points from their opening 4 games. They're already 7 points adrift of the leaders. Not a very auspicious start to their championship defence. Manchester United looking to regain the championship with some rather haunting words from their skipper Roy Keane echoing in their ears. He said in an interview at the weekend that if they didn't win it this year, they may go a long spell. 14 or 15 years like Liverpool were his words. Change in midfield. Pakura is a 22-year-old who was only signed in the summer. He's only made a couple of substitute appearances for the club so far. Manager back on his station. We're joined by Carlos Queiroz for this season. Little did we know when Costinha scored that late goal that sent Jose Mourinho racing down the touchline that we were looking at the next European champions that night at Old Trafford in early March. Manchester United looking to join in the fun all over again. Remember Chelsea went all the way to the semi-finals from the qualifying round last season. And once Manchester United can remove Dinamo Bucuresti from their path, they will set their sights on the very summit once again. Job's not done yet. Smith, he's come as close as anybody so far, and has won a free kick here.
That's what he's good at, getting it into his body, holding it up, resisting defenders. Maybe a little bit fortunate to get that one, Alan Smith.
Brought John O'Shea and Mikel Silvestre forward from the back. Cleverson's free kick. Oh, it's trying to win, Smith! Offside! Well, he can't be, can he? He can't be. The German assistant has raised his flag on the far side. It came off a Dinamo Bucuresti player. Alan Smith turned it in. Goal given. Smile returns to Alan Smith's face. About time he got a tap in for Manchester United. He was set up by an opponent. A goal of some fortune, but of some significance too.
Great ball in, Clive, and it's a difficult one for the linesman on the far side to see. All he sees is the ball pop back out of a ruck of bodies, drops to Alan Smith, who would normally obviously be offside, but you can quite clearly see there. That comes off your Dark's boot. Correct decision.
Alan Smith's third goal for Manchester United comes within 2 minutes of the restart and doubles Manchester United's aggregate lead in the process. 1-0 on the night, 3-1 in total.
And that's a dream start to the second half. It's exactly what Sir Alex would have wanted. Just everyone breathes a little bit easier now. The players can play with just a little bit more confidence, especially the younger guys. Enjoy the night a little bit. Keep the back four nice and concentrated. The likes of Eagles, the likes of Cleverson, guys that need first team football. Now they can enjoy the night a wee bit more.
Played 35 times in Europe for Leeds United. Alan Smith has scored 14 goals. He hit the post in Bucharest a fortnight ago, and now he's got his first in the Champions League for Manchester United. Jonathan Spector, Cristiano Ronaldo. Just bumped by Petre, who would feel as if it was shoulder to shoulder, but he knocked Ronaldo off balance, and a free kick's been given.
And he was clever there, Ronaldo, because as soon as he realised he maybe was just running into trouble, just decides to hit the floor there. Definite foul.
Ronaldo takes. Well, they were running across the sight of the goalkeeper.
That's the ball in. Great delivery that is. A ball of that quality deserves someone getting on the end of that. Alan Smith just looking at Ronaldo there, he knows it.
Bad news for Glasgow Rangers, who were already trailing by 2-1 to CSKA Moscow from the first leg and are now 1 down at Ibrox tonight, so they've got a lot of ground to make up. Rangers 0, CSKA Moscow 1 on the night, 3-1 to the Russian champions. Eagles. Neville, Fletcher's there, Smith's there! Alan Smith has scored twice for Manchester United in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, and Smith and company will be playing Champions League football this season.
Great goal from Alan Smith, terrific run from Gary Neville, and they had lots of bodies running in the box with drags defenders everywhere. Alan Smith left with a simple finish.
What an impact he's made.
Great run from Gary Neville on the overlap. I think it's Eagles that finds him, and they all bursting in the box. Look, they got lots of options. Good finish from Alan Smith. Lovely slide rule ball from Gary Neville. Goalkeeper, no chance with that.
That Smith, Van Nistelrooy, Saha, Rooney forward line will be quite interesting, won't it?
That's the difference. You get bodies in the box from the midfield, causes the defenders all sorts of problems. That's where your striker capitalises on it.
Manchester United 2, Dinamo Bucuresti 0. And up at the top of the screen there, 4-1 now, the Manchester United aggregate lead. And no way back for Jon Andoni and the Dinamo team. Almost I thought a smirk, which becomes almost a shrug of the mouth.
Can we go now?
It's almost as if his assistant suggested a substitution. He said, what's the point?
Hey, as a substitute, you'll start looking the other way now. Don't want to go on.
Right into Semegi, Baccarat, Margaretescu. Baccarat's pass. Petra has always been full of running, had made a good one beyond Spectre. Now he has to come back and doesn't get back quickly enough.
Has Alan Smith had many hat-tricks, Clive, in his career?
Do you want me to sort of guess, or do you want me to go away? I'll leave you to it for 5 minutes. I'll go and get my books. There he is. Might just come for Smith here. Sharp challenge by Galamaz. Antiano can afford only one touch, with Smith bearing down on him and that hat-trick. Fouled by Nicolescu. Fletcher. Not without the ball.
Lucky Ronaldo there, very nearly nipping that off Iramir's toes. Would have been in as well.
This is Manchester United's 28th season in Europe, and more than half of those have been in the main competition in its two great guises as European Cup and Champions League. And it's difficult now to imagine them in any other setting. All set to take part in the big league for the 9th consecutive season, which would be a record for the competition. See Phil Neville there in the foreground, preparing to come on. Here's Big Bruv. Jemba. Pakara. Nicolescu. Semegi. Dancilescu. Petru. Spector stuck with him again. Looks a very capable defender. He's a strongly built 18-year-old. Ronaldo. Smith. Cleverson. Smith so eager, he sets an example to all around him. Such an appetite for the game. And he's forced a yellow card from Galamaz. Those two centre-backs, Galamaz and Yordaki, have seen quite enough of Alan Smith. Neville for Neville. There's the substitution. Gary Neville giving way to Phil Neville. He's only played 20 minutes of Premiership football this season. Just had the last 10 minutes in Bucharest. A regular much of last season. Taking over the captaincy. Ronaldo's free kick. Rather nervous touch by Montiano. Not sure I'd want to get my head on the end of one of these Ronaldo free kicks.
Another great ball in, pace on it, exactly what is required. Goalkeeper should catch that, doesn't need to punch that at all. But it is a good delivery, a fast delivery.
As long as you've got a couple of paracetamol. Here is Phil Neville. Left out of the England squad last week, which will have been a blow to him. Eagles. A little bit too much there. And Fletcher almost forced into a foul.
Dancilescu, who's been their most potent player, as you said, so far this season, Clive, dropping right into the midfield now. Another great delivery that is from there. Look at the pace on it. Catch that. Goalkeeper should just catch that.
Manchester United in consummate control, thanks to 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of this second half from Alan Smith. They can be all but certain of taking their place in tomorrow's draw in Monaco for the first stage of the Champions League, and they will be seeded because of their excellent record in the competition. Cleverson. Caught in possession though by Pakara. A black punch tonight. Dinamo Bucuresti, they've had some moments up until maybe 20 yards from Manchester United's goal.
Did well there, Pakara, won the tackle with Cleverson.
Neville. Sylvestre.
Done well tonight, Spector. I've been impressed with him.
Phil Neville. Fletcher. Corner kick.
Good run, good confident run. Attacking the last defender. Forcing the corner.
Roche and Sylvester forward again. Towards Ronaldo. Who, headed one, maybe two goals at Euro 2004. Petra trying to run it out of trouble. With more than half an hour to go, as a contest, you feel the tie is over. Aydin to Semegui.
I think Sir Alex once or twice has been critical of his team being careless. I think this is what it's all about now, this performance for them. They've got themselves in the driving seat. Again, they're home and dry in the tie. Just be nice and focused and concentrated at the back and don't give anything silly away.
With the pressure off, maybe they can really open up and add to their tally and send a message to the rest of Europe. You'll be aware of the lineup in the draw tomorrow. Porto, the holders, of course, from Spain. Valencia, Barcelona, Deportivo La Coruña have already qualified. Real Madrid looks certain to. From Italy, Milan, Roma and Inter Milan have already qualified. Juventus are hoping to tonight. From Germany, Werder Bremen, Bayern Munich and almost certainly Bayer Leverkusen. From France, Lyon, Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco. Throw in Ajax and Celtic, one or two besides. It'll take some winning. Djemba to Fletcher. Smith. No flag. Phil Neville had run on, now he's offside.
Unlucky, it was a good run from Phil Neville. He actually wanted the ball from Djemba that was clipped through. See, he wants that one. Yeah, just straight a yard offside. Unlucky though, good movement, better now, sharper to the ball. More incisive, looking to thread people and slide people into dangerous situations.
Last time Manchester United were in this qualifying round, they've knocked 5 past Zalaegerszeg of Hungary here in the home leg. Got a chance to give some real impetus to their season. And they can score 2 or 3 more in the closing half hour. Eagles just buffeted by Yordaki.
Trying to just take that on his chest there, Chris Eagles. Ploughed into him from behind from Yordake. Shooting opportunity from Ronaldo maybe. Same sort of shape as he's delivered from the wide areas.
Cleverson has paced out a run. It's to beat Cleverson. Wall stood firm. Strong play by Fletcher, too strong.
Unlucky, Semegui not really aware he was there. Darren Fletcher does well. Just gives him a little nudge.
Neville. Ronaldo. On to Cleverson. Clean challenge. Now here's Petra with a little bit of space. Okay.
Decent run from Petra, and he had Spector and Mikhail Silvestre closing him down. Better option there might have been to try and find Niculescu.
Manchester United are going to bring on another couple of fringe players. Ronaldo, who Alec Ferguson is keen to rest, is going to give way to David Bellion, who played on the right-hand side of midfield against Norwich on Saturday. And Alan Smith's got to get a hat-trick tonight. He's going to be rested with the weekend in mind. Kieran Richardson will come on in his place, another teenager. Eagles seems to have gone right up the middle. Bellion will support him from the right, and Richardson from this left-hand side. Phil Neville. Paul Scholes is not on the field. It's Bellion and Richardson.
Yeah, Bellion's gone up alongside Eagles up front, more of a 4-4-2 sort of formation now. Richardson out on the left-hand side here. Fletcher still occupying the right side.
Bellion is quick. As Galamas will not testify. He just caught him there. Down Chilescu, out to Semegi. Naidi. Margritescu. Yordake. Petro heard that opportunity before. He actually scored a very important goal for his country last week. Romania began their World Cup qualifying campaign with a win over Finland, and number 8 Petra got their late winning goal. Confirmation of the substitutions. They are in a group with Holland and the Czech Republic, it would have to be said. They only just missed out on Euro 2004 behind Denmark and Norway. They were foiled by a last-minute Martin Laursen penalty in Copenhagen in the last qualifying game. Romania are usually around at the major tournaments. Just a chance for a couple more of these Dinamo players to sample the atmosphere of Old Trafford. Cleverson looks for Richardson. Foul by Eagles. Obviously, having won the Youth Cup last season, Manchester United will feel there's another generation of promising youngsters coming through. It's strange how in recent years they've been able to blood one or two of their younger players in the Champions League. It all began when there was a quota for the number of British-born players you had to play in this competition, and one or two of the Neville, Butts, Scholes generation got their first chances in this competition. Number 27, Bellion, is a right back. Coming on down this side instead of Petra, who got that goal for Romania last week. Bellion did play in the first game. He's going to play in midfield in front of Irimia. Here is the latest substitute, Margritescu. Stopped by Cleverson. Foul by the Brazilian.
Done okay tonight, Cleverson. I still think there's plenty more to come from him. Another 90 minutes hopefully under his belt tonight. Won't do him any harm at all.
A little careless from Fletcher, but he gets away with it. Flag is up. More live European football on Friday night on ITV2. We'll see Porto and Valencia, the Champions League winners and the winners of the Cup Winners' Cup, in opposition for the European Super Cup. That's live from 7 o'clock on ITV2 on Friday night. And then on Sunday morning, our regular review of the Coca-Cola Championship, which is 10:30 on Sunday morning. That's here on ITV1. If you want to follow the draw for the first group stages of the Champions League, you can log on to our website, itv.com/football tomorrow lunchtime. Well kept in by Richardson. This is Bellion. Jeremia. Strong defending by Neville. Cleberson. Spectre. Might just break for Bellion here. He's onside. Yordaki watching it anxiously. And Bellion has got clear. David Bellion, 3. Just couldn't handle his speed. The defender got more and more nervous as the ball came towards him. Bellion got more and more hopeful. And having wriggled clear of Yordaki, David Bellion was able to add to the goal that he scored here against Norwich at the weekend. Same end.
Yeah, he just kept on the defender's blind side. You can see him there, kept onside, and then he just used his strength. He just leans on Yordake there. Goalkeeper's now advanced out beyond the 6-yard box, and that's a good finish. Just look, powers him away from there. Slides it in the corner. That's a good finish from David Bellion.
He's still only 21 years of age. He's seen a little bit more football this season, having been a fringe player for much of his first season.
Well, that's his strength, Clive. Running onto things, he will be a threat for absolutely any defender.
Bellion. Then towards Nicolescu. Tim Howe has been a spectator for much of the evening. Jemba. Substitutions of fresh from Manchester United up again. These players want to join in the fun. Bellion, though, caught in possession.
Yeah, that's the side of his game that needs improving. He's done brilliant there, by the way. Gave it away, got straight back up on his feet, get back and win it.
Turning for his error, Eagles. He's lost it under his feet, and now he's found it again, and now he's lost it again. Semagin to Nicolescu. Margritescu. Nicolescu brought down by Neville. Had a year in Italian football with Genoa, Nicolescu, but returned to Dinamo a year ago. Both Yordake and Galamas, the two central defenders, are forward here. Free kick's wildly overhit though. Over 61,000 inside Old Trafford again tonight. Pay somebody's wages for a day. If you are joining us during the evening, in addition to the 3 goals that we have to talk about tonight, and Manchester United's 5-1 aggregate lead, news that Manchester United have made a bid to Everton for Wayne Rooney, believed to be in the region of £20 million tonight. And also news that Manchester United skipper Roy Keane has suffered 2 cracked ribs and will be out for 3 weeks. David Moyes, the Everton manager, was here at the start of the night. He'll maybe ask for Ronaldo and Smith in part exchange, will he? It is a free kick. Eagles tumbling. No Ronaldo to take the free kick. He's gone off. Jemba. Neville. Fletcher. Phil Neville has gone on. Darren Fletcher. Tagged though by Semagin. Not sure too much of it to Bellion.
He's powerful, he really is. He'll get about you. He is a powerful player. Just think the ball's into his feet, but he's back to play. That's the area of his game. he's going to need to improve on if he wants to hold down any sort of a regular place here.
It's almost one of the unwritten laws of football, isn't it? The quickest players aren't always the players with the best first touch. Dancilescu on towards Bellion. Spector, again, calm defending in a difficult situation by Jonathan Spector.
Been very impressed with him.
Terrific from Richardson, lovely skill. Stopped by Galabas. Cloderson keeping the move going, picking up Fletcher beautifully. It's got Eagles, Bellion and Richardson with him. Fletcher's cross, Bellion! Should really have done better. He actually had time to take a touch, but he's just stretching for it a little bit.
Wonderful sweeping move, great ball from Cleverson. Finding Darren Fletcher in space, he could have whipped it across the 6-yard box, but sees David Bellion pulling out, just couldn't keep it down. Good football.
Alan Smith scored 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of this second half to set Manchester United on their way tonight. David Bellion has now added to the lead on the evening, and on aggregate Manchester United's advantage is 5-1. "15 minutes to play." Bala. Rimia. Margaretescu. A little bit of space for Semegin. Manchester United, even without so many familiar faces, have been a class apart from their opponents tonight.
Yeah, frustrated a little bit for half an hour or so. Scored at a great time. Start the second half. Since then, totally bossed the game. Playing with a lot more freedom, a lot more confidence now. Job very well done.
You would ask yourself the question, how many of the players on the field now would be Manchester United's first choice 11? That's Nicolescu with a shot. Tim Howard making the save probably would be.
Mikel Silvestre.
Probably into John O'Shea, maybe.
Yep. 2 or 3.
Really can't play centre-back, can he? No. Spector. Eagles couldn't reach it, turned away by Galamaz. Richardson. Jemba. Fletcher. Phil Neville overlapping. Neville's cross in towards Eagles, might still come for the teenager. Turn back to Bellion. Sets up Fletcher. Still hasn't scored for Manchester United, Darren Fletcher. Strong challenge by Silvestre, waved on. There's a chance there for somebody to fill their boots in these remaining 15 minutes or so.
It's unlucky there, Darren Fletcher. Did everything right. Kept it down.
Here from Ibrox that Rangers have scored a late equaliser on the night. It's now 3-2 on aggregate against them to CSKA Moscow. Need another goal, Glasgow Rangers, but back in business there. It's a late goal. There's only a couple of minutes left in that match. Bala. Dancilescu. Rodake. Galamaz. Irimia. Dinamo Bucuresti being allowed almost to play in front of Manchester United.
Wall of red shirts across the middle, with that back four been very solid all night long.
It's better though. Margaretescu trying to walk his way through, so Silvestri's there.
It's been excellent, Mikel Silvestre. Very concentrated, He has been prone to the odd error in the past in the centre of defence. None of that, no sign of that tonight.
Bellion. Dancilescu. So that's the senior man out there now. Is the oldest Manchester United player on the field, 27. The average age of the side was just under 23 at kickoff. It just have gone down since then. Gary Neville going off. Cleverson, growing in confidence, has enjoyed himself tonight. Spectre certainly has. This is Richardson. Djemba. Fletcher. Up on towards Neville. Gathered it in. And a free kick.
Did very well there, Phil Neville.
One more change for Dinamo Bucuresti, and Claudiu Niculescu, the striker, is coming off to be replaced by Denis Serban, who rather curiously has his Christian name rather than his surname plastered across his back. Dennis the Menace, famous name in this stadium. Cleverson with the free kick. Header away by Yordaki. Dancilescu. Gone out of play. Spectre. Cut out by Semagin. Forced forward by Yordaki. Phil Neville. Just dropped for Bellion. It is a throw into Manchester United.
Understandably, Clive, the tempo of the game has dropped. Only 10 minutes left to play. Job very well done, very professionally done tonight. Seen some young players gaining vital European experience. And two of the older heads, Smith, Sylvestre, played very solidly. So Alex couldn't have asked for a lot more at the beginning of the evening.
Two eyebrows raised at the beginning of the evening by the calibre and experience of the players, the number of players that he left out. I mean, he's been in this situation before in Premiership games where maybe they haven't had the result that they would have wished and rested a couple of players, and obviously fingers are pointed at the manager in those circumstances.
Well, we saw last night Liverpool found it very, very sweaty that last 15 minutes there at Anfield in getting through eventually. So you always run the risk when you're putting young guys in a situation like this. A big European night against a team that you know, given the time and given an opportunity, can hurt you. So yeah, you do leave yourself there to be shot at a wee bit, but they come up trumps for him tonight. The team have played very well.
Bellion. Serban. Jeremia. Too long for Dancilescu. Eagles full of running. There's no shortage of energy in this young Manchester United team. Here's Bellion. All the space here for Richardson on the near side. Bellion couldn't quite pick the pass that he needed.
Any sort of ball in front of Kieran Richardson there, and he's in with just 30 yards of grass between him and the goalkeeper.
Throw in. Fletcher. Neville. Eagles. I suppose it's a little unfair to ask you to assess Manchester United's chances in the competition or for the season, Andy, until we know the events of the the next few days and how the Rooney bid goes down.
When their key players are back, like they're as formidable as anything else in the competition. With the experience they have, as you say, possibly having Wayne Rooney in the camp as well, they'll be a threat to absolutely any other team in this competition.
I'm afraid Glasgow Rangers will not be. They are out of the Champions League. The details on that with Gabby and Co at the end. The Rangers have not made it. Bellion's leg speed again to the fore. Eagles. Jemba to Fletcher. Bellion. And towards Kieran Richardson. Tail off Galamaz. Good run. There's not a great deal of Kieran Richardson. He will be 20 until October. He was very quiet last season, but he's been more involved with the first team at the start of this season.
Yeah, obviously got opportunities due to those injuries, and it's a big season for him. He's got to try and make the most of them when he does get an opportunity. Hasn't seen quite enough of the ball since he's come on.
Cleverson with the corner. Easy for Montiano. Roy Keane is likely to be out for about 3 weeks. Just been presented to Cleverson. Oh, goalkeeper was off his line. I think he was aware of that. He was trying to lift it over him.
Crazy defending, but Cleverson very alive and very alert. Getting the right mix up there, the two defenders, and Cleverson does well to just shrug the defender off. He just sees Montiano miles off his line. Just can't apply the finish.
So Keane out for another 3 weeks, Ferdinand out for another 4 weeks. Ruud van Nistelrooy had a hernia operation about a week ago, so I guess we won't see him in harness for about a month. Wes Brown is still on the injured list. Gabriel Heinze playing in the Olympic final this coming weekend.
Incredible list of injured players and absentees. Vital they stay involved in this competition, obviously. I've just got to try and hang in there in the Premiership, I think, for 3 or 4 weeks.
Sylvester's found Richardson. Side netting, goal kick. Always traditionally, Manchester United feel the second half of the season is their stronger half. They really started a motor around about Christmas and into the new year. Last season, I think a lot of people felt that their championship charge was being perfectly timed again, but then it all fizzled out in late January, early February, around the time that Ferdinand was suspended. Unusual, really. It was almost like an Olympic middle distance runner timing his run and coming to the bend and then just finding he didn't have the kick that he usually has. If you were to pick one of the 4 English representatives in the draw tomorrow to be our favourite for a European champion, who would it be, Andy?
Well, I think the way that Arsenal have started the season, I mean, you can't look beyond them. They are playing on a different level to pretty much everyone at the minute. I think Chelsea have ground out some very interesting victories so far this season. But I just think the way that Arsenal play, I think we all want to see them get to the latter stages of the Champions League, because they play the game in they've got such a special brand of football at the moment. It's so pleasing on the eye. And they've got the ability to do it.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United will be kept apart in that draw tomorrow. But Celtic, who are through, may finish up in a group with an English club, as Rangers did last year with Manchester United. Danchelescu, taken out by Fletcher. Spectre to Jemba. O'Shea. Richardson. Free kick has gone against Kieran Richardson, presumably for handball. Manchester United with those 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of this second half, and the now departed Alan Smith have had consummate control of this tie throughout the second half. David Bellion's goal just garnished the success. And they haven't looked like conceding tonight.
I think Tim Howe's probably only had one save to make, like. Such has been their dominance.
Free kick given for footer. One last threat to Tim Howard's clean sheet. Bellion will take it. And seen off at the far post by John O'Shea. It's been a stress-free night for Sir Alec Ferguson. Fielded one of the youngest teams that Manchester United have ever fielded in European competition. Alan Smith scored 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of the second half to ease them clear of pretty modest opponents. They will be drawn against far better teams in Monaco tomorrow, where they will join Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea and the big names of European football: Barcelona, Real Madrid, Milan, maybe Juventus and company, Bayern Munich, in the draw for the first stages of the Champions League. It's not been a night of high drama or excitement at Old Trafford. I'm sure there are plenty of those ahead in the months ahead. But Manchester United have done what was required of them and have joined the last 32 for tomorrow's draw with a 3-0 win over Dinamo Bucuresti tonight. Gabby will be back with Robbie and Ali in just one moment.